If you want to watch every episode of the Stop and Go F1 Retro Review of 1981 right now, you can do so by becoming a Mansell Mustache member. Click the link in the description below. The Specials are still the biggest song in the UK. Arthur is the biggest film in the world. I've never heard of it. And in Japan, a new game has been released called Donkey Kong, which features a man fighting a big gorilla who has stolen his girlfriend. It's scheduled to come out in America and Europe in future months. Best of luck with that, lads. That'll never catch on. But who cares? It's time for the British Grand Prix of 1981! Now, before the race starts, the Lotus car was disqualified yet again, and they've had to totally rebuild their car to be within the regulations before being allowed to qualify. But unfortunately, it did not end well for Nigel Mansell, who was 27th fastest overall and failed to qualify. As for other British drivers, Brian Henton for Tolman and Derek Warwick for Tolman also failed to qualify. So of the 4 British drivers at the British Grand Prix, only one actually qualified, and that was John Watson, who's looking to become the first British race winner since James Hunt at the 1977 Japanese Grand Prix nearly 4 years ago. And after qualifying, it was Arnoux on pole, with Prost alongside to complete an all-Renault front row. Piquet is third with Pironi in fourth. Then it's an all-McLaren third row with John Watson and the amazing Andrea de Cesaris. Current world champion Alan Jones is 7th with Gilles Villeneuve alongside him. Then it's championship leader Carlos Reutemann in 9th and Riccardo Patrese completes the top 10.
On the revs are rising and away they go. Up to the first right-hander at Cox. And it's Pironi up with them.
Piquet in 4th place, I see there.
It's Pironi going through into 2nd place. The 2 Renaults have got the Ferrari sandwiched between them as they have gone round Copse, up to Maggots, round Beckett's. And the rest of the field streams through on this first flying lap in this 68 lap down the Hangar Straight onto Stowe Corner. And there is Michele Alboreto in the Tyrrell, already in trouble. He's had very little trouble in practice, qualified well, but Alboreto out of the race seemingly already as they come up towards the completion of the first lap, streaming away from Stowe Corner, from Stowe up to Club, from Club up to Abbey, the very, very fast left-hander, which is some 160 miles an hour.
Well, a pretty uneventful start, very clean, they all got away well.
Are you sure about that, James? Because it appears that one of the drivers is off the track. There he is, he's probably fine. Now, a couple of weeks ago in the Spanish Grand Prix, you may remember the CS stand. But now we have our British equivalent of the CS stand, which is just bring a cherry picker from home and stand on top of it with your mates. Back on track now, and Arnoux gets past Pironi and Piquet gets past Villeneuve.
Number 15, 26 years old, his 20th Grand Prix, and it looks to me as though Arnoux is taking that 2nd place. Indeed he is. Arnoux is taking the 2nd place from Pironi, and Piquet is ahead of Villeneuve, and Alan Jones is still in 6th position. So, there it is, and Villeneuve is going to try and Piquet is ahead of Villeneuve now.
Back on track now, and Villeneuve is under a hell of a lot of pressure from Alan Jones.
Arnoux, Pironi, Piquet, Villeneuve, Jones, and off goes the Ferrari into the catch fencing goes De Cesaris. Alan Jones is off. So out of the race is Alan Jones, Villeneuve, and De Cesaris.
Well, that's a real shame.
There is Andrea De Cesaris out of his car. He looks perfectly all right, and Villeneuve has rejoined the race, but Alan Jones is out of his car. World champion Alan Jones on lap 5, out of the race.
World champion Alan Jones is out, but more importantly, the amazing Andrea de Cesaris is out. Gilles Villeneuve is able to get away from it and is keeping on in the track, but we have to go to Barry now, who has an exclusive interview with Alan Jones in which he provides an expert guide on pronouncing drivers' names.
Alan Jones, 4 laps of the Grand Prix you won last year. What happened?
Well, I was just trying to get past the mobile chicanes with their 800 horsepower. And Villeneuve started hopping all over the curves at the chicane and finally lost it on the last one and spun broadside right in front of me. And I put my brakes on and I was having difficulty seeing which way to go because there was so much smoke. I just like flying into a cloud. And he just slid back and I T-boned him.
Did you get hit by anybody else, Alan?
I don't think so. I noticed that De Cesaris is out, but I don't know whether he had his own little separate accident or whether he hit me.
Anyway, you're okay yourself, but not feeling awfully happy.
No, I'm going to have a couple of Fosters.
Thank you, Alan, and bad luck.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thanks, Barry. Now, Villeneuve was able to get away from that incident. Let's go check on him now, see how he is.
And Villeneuve's car absolutely shredded. Front wing broken, the rear wing battered, and his near side rear tyre exploded.
Piquet had some very good race pace earlier and is now up to 3rd place. Let's go check in on him and see how he's doing.
Yes, there's Piquet. That's Piquet. Nelson Piquet's gone off again.
But it's not all bad news for Piquet, because before this race he exclusively told me it's been a dream of his since he was a child to be carried like a baby by one of our strong British marshals. And it looks like Piquet's dreams are about to come true. There he is, Nelson Piquet, achieving a lifelong dream, and you can see how happy he is there. A wonderful day in the life of Nelson Piquet. Back on track now, we've got a fantastic freeway battle between Pironi, Reutemann and John Watson.
Watson's climbing over his back view now. Watson, in fact, is very well placed to tow past Reutemann into the chicane here. If you watch, he's getting a good draft. He'll pull out.
This is the battle for 3rd, and indeed Watson is he? Yes, he's going through on the inside. John Watson up into 4th position with a superb passing manoeuvre past Carlos Reutemann, and now he's setting about Didier Pironi, the 3rd place man. John Watson, who was 3rd in Spain, 2nd in France in this ever-improving Marlboro MP4, the Ulsterman, the only British driver in this British Grand Prix of 1981, and he was very bullish about winning, and he goes through into 3rd position.
Fantastic driving by Watson. The only point is, can the Ferrari now with its power catch him down the straight? Watson did a beautiful passing manoeuvre on Reutemann because he feinted to his left. Reutemann protected that. He then moved inside. He fooled it out. Oh, I think the Ferrari's in trouble. The Ferrari seems to have slowed down. So all that beautiful driving by Watson has been wasted. What a shame.
And Pironi has had a fantastic start to this race in the top 3. He appears to have just dropped out of it now, but let's see if he can get back up there.
Fine. Whoop.
And the Ferrari, the turbo is on fire. I suspect that's the trouble. That great plume of smoke is one of the from oil burning in one of the twin turbos, which are atop the engine behind the driver. And look, I just saw a spurt of flame, but it looks to me as though it has gone out. So Pironi is definitely, like his teammate Gilles Villeneuve, who went out on lap 5 after that crash, out of the race.
I'm getting some breaking news here, but I'm being told that Nelson Piquet is back on track. Oh, I'm so sorry, I misunderstood. Sorry, the ambulance that's going to get Nelson Piquet is on the track. I'm really sorry. I misunderstood the message there. And would you look at that, Nelson Piquet appears to have fainted with joy after being carried by that marshal. And now a very interesting story building up here. A couple of weeks ago, Alain Prost had never led a race in Formula 1. Since then, he has won his home Grand Prix and has led every lap of this race here. Let's go check in on him and see what's going on.
Pits comes the race leader. What a sensational British Grand Prix this is turning out to be, because now Alain Prost is in trouble. And look at the uproar in the Renault pit, and he's coming in for tyres, obviously. Up goes the car, down go the jacks,
Well, that's very interesting because that may well mean that René Arnoux is on the same. He may well be on the same compound of rubber, and if they've made an unwise choice, gone a little bit too soft, because they certainly seem to be going quicker relatively in the race than they did in practice. Maybe they were frightened by Piquet's form this morning, put on soft tyres, and have paid the price. Anyway, we shall see, because if that is the case and they're in tyre trouble, then of course Watson is in a very strong position. He's now moved up to second place already because of the pit stop, and we'll have to wait and see what happens to Arnoux's car.
And how about we go check in on Nelson Piquet? He's having a great time. Oh, and we can go live now to the pit lane where we find Barry standing very close to Alain Prost. Across to you, Barry.
Well, anybody who's ever broken down on the motorway will know the frustration that Alain Prost is feeling now, because it is nothing more nor less than plug problems. And if you look at this engine and the work the mechanics are doing, you'll see that changing a plug on one of these cars isn't like changing a plug on yours and mine. A major problem for Renault. He's been in the pits now more than 3 minutes. Alain Prost, we spoke to you a fortnight ago when you'd won your first Grand Prix. Looked like you're going to win another. What happened?
I think it's the engine. I don't know why. I don't know what exactly, but it's the engine. The car was perfect. I'm very disappointed about that.
Do you know what happened to the car exactly?
To the car, it's the engine. It's the engine anyway, but I don't know what exactly.
You felt it going when you were in the lead, did you?
Yes, the last lap, everything was going very right. But the last lap, the engine go down, and I stopped because anyway it was finished for me.
But you still have a Renault teammate out on the track.
Yes, for sure. But you know, I'm very disappointed because 9 points for me today was it was possible for me to win championship, but now it's finished.
Alan, we hope not. Thank you for talking to us.
And for any cricket fans now, we go across to our cricket expert, James Hunt.
Our viewers on Channel 9 in Australia, a great shame that we lost Alan Jones yet again to entertain you with, but some other news is that I'm afraid your Australian cricket team seem to have bowled the Poms out for very few runs at all, so I should think England are going to have to follow on, so at least there's some good news for Australians.
Thanks, James. And now we can look at Elio De Angelis, the only Lotus car in this race after Nigel Mansell failed to qualify. He's currently up to P6.
Hang on, that's De Angelis coming
and there
in the
is
pit.
De Angelis. I spoke too soon. Elio De Angelis, who started off practicing in a Lotus 88B, had it turned into a Lotus 87, which you do by removing a large number of components, mainly bodywork, is having a mysterious conversation with somebody. I can't imagine what this is about. Any ideas, James?
No, I've no idea, unless he was black flagged. He may well have been black flagged. He looks pretty upset about something. That was an official.
I accuse you, he is saying. And it's Robert Langford he's talking to. And Robert Langford is one of the chief international officials. I guess that may be the situation. Maybe, and we are hypothesizing, we are guessing. We didn't actually see a black flag being put out, but it was quite evident. Every picture tells a story, and that picture certainly told one. And Elio De Angelis was in clearly just as much of a black rage as Andrea De Cesaris, his Italian compatriot, was when he went off at Woodcote.
Well, he is obviously furious. Can we get Barry to put a microphone in his face? No, we can't, but we have got Barry with Colin Chapman. Over to you, Barry.
Colin Chapman, why has Elio De Angelis come in?
Nothing ever. I've never known this happen before in motor racing. Apparently, he was black flagged because they felt that he didn't respect a yellow flag about 10 laps sooner. But normally, of course, if you're going to black flag a car, you get the team to do the black flagging, and only then, if the team doesn't black flag, then the stewards do it. I've never heard of this before. I just can't believe it. There's no way he should have been black flagged on the start line like that.
Well, surely what normally happens is you have a minute's penalty, isn't that right, Colin?
No, normally it's an admonition. They slow the car down, talk to him, tell him he's been a naughty boy, and then let him go. Not make him exclude him from the race like this. That's crazy.
Colin, I have to say it hasn't been your weekend, has it?
You can say that again.
Thank you for talking to us. Very disappointing Colin Chapman.
Back on track now with Rene Arnoux, who's been leading this race quite comfortably for the last 37 laps. Let's go check in on him right now.
Yes, I'm just listening to the Renault of Arnoux as he went past, and his engine sounds distinctly rough. Of course, a broken exhaust pipe can sound pretty rough, but of course on a turbo that's rather critical. And if we can watch the car now, he's got Rabac behind him. If he's lost power, yes, Rabac is keeping right up with him, and it looks as if Arnoux may be in trouble because Rabac's keeping up with him very well indeed.
This could be tremendously significant. If Rabac gets past Arnoux, that will indicate that, and he's doing it, Arnoux is in trouble. Arnoux is definitely on lap 53 in trouble. If Rabac can get ahead of him and catch him and pass him, John Watson, who is in second position, can do the same thing.
John Watson is the man currently in P2, and with Arnoux starting to struggle, Watson is reeling him in.
The race leader, Arnoux, in second place, Watson, in third place, Reutemann, in fourth place, Patrese, in fifth place, Mario Andretti, and there's going to be a change of lead right in front of the grandstand on the main part of the course. Out of the chicane, there's no time difference here, and Watson is right up behind the gearbox of Rene Arnoux, into Copse. But no, I thought there was going to be a change there.
Yes, no rush, Watty, no rush, please don't. It's the car's down on power, he doesn't have to take any risks, he can wait for his moment. Look, now he's got him, he's going to outbrake him easily into Beckett's and away.
John Watson, the man from Ulster, leads the 1981 British Grand Prix on lap 61 out of 68. Arnoux, of course, will inevitably drop back. He is now in second position.
So, John Watson leads the British Grand Prix from Rene Arnoux. Arnoux having a fantastic race up until this point, but car issues have seen that he'll have to settle for second place.
And the time difference between John Watson and Arnoux stopping. As I talk, as Arnoux crosses the line, he stops on the pit straight. Halfway down the pit straight, there is his engine just exploded. It gave a great boom as it went past me. And that means with there's three cars. There is Mark Shearer's car, Mario Andretti's car, and Rene Arnoux' car. And there we have now a new second place man, because up into second place will go Carlos Reutemann. The Reutemann has done it again. More points.
Yes, Reutemann just cruising around piling up points this year. He hasn't done. There is Carlos Reutemann. He's up into second place, so he's going to pick up 6 more points for the World Championship. None of his main rivals are challenging in this race.
So with him out, that promotes Reutemann to P2 and Riccardo Patrese to P3. Riccardo Patrese in the Arrows, who are yet to score a point yet this year, are about to be on the podium of the British Grand Prix.
That's Patrese's car. Well, I find it extremely difficult to keep up with the British Grand Prix because now Riccardo Patrese, who was in fourth position, is out of the race. I keep a note of the people that go out of the race, and my piece of paper is rapidly now being covered with names. Watson through, another lap completed.
So John Watson wins from Reutemann in second, then Jacques Lafitte completes the podium and Eddie Cheever is fourth. Hector Rabac is fifth, and the drummer from ABBA is sixth and gets the final point. So, after a very eventful British Grand Prix, we'll be back next time for the German Grand Prix.